Outfest is at a place in which we are putting queer, cash in queer pockets, which means, some of those access points that we've seen over the generations of the same groups of people that are not getting through. So I don't want to say that we're going to be 100% dedicated to just seeing QT BIPOC stories, but when it comes to the programs that are happening outside of our major festivals, those are the places that we're putting a lot of our resources and attention to.
And we are back with Damien Navarro from Outfest.
Okay, Damien, we heard a bit about your upbringing and the beautiful support of your family and your father. Let's get a little bit more specific about Outfest.
Yes.
You stepping into this role, what you hope to change, what you hope to see, what you hope other people will be engaged with when it comes to Outfest and participate in.
Any of the queer organizations really had to ask themselves an important question once, marriage unions were legalized is, what is our role today and how has that changed over time? Outfest is about to celebrate its 40th anniversary, and it started as 7 PhD film students at UCLA who wanted an excuse to come together, form a little conference, see some of the stuff that they were working. And since then, it has become kind of this global brand. And so with that, we had to make a clear decision about what is our responsibility to today. Who are the people that really need us? Because back in the day, you needed a film festival to get your stuff either purchased, distributed, bought, or seen. That's not necessarily the case. We also have creatives now that are starting on TikTok or YouTube, and what is their role in storytelling? How do we bring them into the fold? And Hollywood, more than ever, has what seems like an endless pipeline of content needs, but they still keep going to that half dozen number of people that they've always gone to create stories that are supposed to reflect all of us. So I think Outfest is at a place in which we are redefining what storytellers need. I like to say we're putting cash in queer pockets, which means, some of those access points that we've seen over the generations of the same groups of people that are not getting through. So I don't want to say that we're going to be 100% dedicated to just seeing QT BIPOC stories, but when it comes to the programs that are happening outside of our major festivals, those are the places that we're putting a lot of our resources and attention to.
What are some of those programs?
So we have, of course, Outfest Los Angeles is the Academy qualifying festival that everybody knows that happens during the summer. But Outfest Fusion, which is our QT BIPOC film festival, and I will say a conference. We have workshops and classes from everybody from community members to established filmmakers that can come and learn from one another. That happens in the fall. We launched our first inaugural Outfronts, which is our queer TV streaming upfronts, which is going to happen now every Pride season. And then throughout the year, for those community members that are interested in either just getting their start or for established filmmakers or storytellers, we have our screenwriting lab, which also does episodic content now. We have our trans and non-binary fellowship for actors that are interested in playing whether it's cis roles or trans roles, because that was a major challenge that we were seeing as a barrier to entry for a lot of talent. We have our Outset program, which is for 16 to 24-year-olds, a 6-month film studio, basically, where they get to create their own content. So, and then of course, my favorite is this program that we have with UCLA, which is the UCLA Legacy Project, in which we have now archived over 40,000 films dating back 100 years of our stories, and have also preserved or restored 26 plus feature films. So it's really an abundance that we're trying to build around us in our community, because those are the types of ways that we can actually lift one another up.
And now within all of the content and what's created, as LGBTQ community, we are also underrepresented, but then we have pillars of different parts of the community that are also even more underrepresented. Do you guys have any efforts focused particularly on those pillars?
So we just recruited a whole new slew of new board members that represent a lot of those groups and communities in which we feel are still desperately underrepresented. I will say, though, that the common thread that we see is socioeconomically. Right there, even as young people that just happen to come from a lot of those communities, there isn't an opportunity to learn, to educate, to meet one another, to even be inspired to do something creative in a creative field or a story. And the barriers to entry, from cameras on our cell phones to editing equipment, are so low But if you don't see a way forward in which you can actually get your content seen, there's already a struggle there. But yes, Muslim and Arabic stories are incredibly important to us. We were so excited to see a film that we really got behind, Flee, get nominated for an Academy Award. We're also excited to see Indigenous and trans stories. Our Trans Summit is actually where Sam Feder and Laverne Cox met one another a couple of years ago, and Laverne came on to help underwrite Disclosure and to co-produce Disclosure. So those summits, those bringing people together in a safe space in a room amongst one another, are where the real magic starts to happen, is just simply giving them a room to create and leaving them alone. And we're shocked, we shouldn't be so shocked at what happens there.
Well, sign us up. We want to support, we want to be part. We're super excited about everything happening at Outfest. Thank you so much for coming. So we want to thank Damien for stopping by. Please make sure to visit outfest.org. And when we come back, we're talking to Willie Martin. This is the Q Agenda. Don't go anywhere.